Hi, this is Omar from Charitable Reuse Australia, and I'd like to thank the state of Western Australia for funding this landmark study on reuse in WA. This is the first time such a comprehensive study is being done in WA, although we have successfully completed similar studies in New South Wales, Tasmania, and South Australia. The study will collect data on reuse volumes, environmental benefits, economic value, and employment across op shops, non-profit shops, secondhand vintage shops, tip shops, clothing collectors, renter racks, and consignment stores across the state. So please be part of this one. We would love you to be involved in the survey. Why? It will help identify opportunities to accelerate the sector in WA. It'll help inform government policy, and it will also give you an opportunity to demonstrate the value of your organisation within the broader context. So please be part of it, and thank you so much for your support, and we look forward to working with you.
Hi, I'm Lucas DeGaris, one of the consultants at RawTech, and I'll be taking you through the survey. This survey helps us gather data from organisations across Western Australia involved in reuse activities. The information you provide will stay confidential to the RawTech and Charitable Reuse Australia teams and will only be reported at the aggregator level. If you have any questions about this survey or the project, please get in touch with the RawTech team. Our contact details are listed on the first tab of the survey. There are two versions of this survey, for exporters and for non-exporters. We'll go through the non-exporter survey first. There are two tabs in the non-exporter survey. The first tab covers the scope of the project, includes definitions and the RawTech team's contact details if you need to get in touch. The second tab is the survey form, where you can enter your organisation's data and information. Section 1 gathers your organisation's details, things like your business name, organisation type, contact details, and whether you source or send second-hand items to other reuse organisations. This helps us avoid double counting across the sector. Section 2 is the main section of the survey and includes three tables. Table 2.1 records the total number of items your organisation resells back to the community. These are grouped into three categories: clothing and textiles, household and homewares, toys and games, and building and hardware. Definitions of these categories will pop up as you select the cells. Across the three categories, we are first looking at the number of second-hand items you sell back to the Western Australian community. The next column is where we ask what proportion of these items are post-consumer items. This means that items that have been previously purchased by consumers and does not include items that are dead stock or last season's fashion donations from retailers. The third column asks if any of these items were sourced from interstate. This is likely 0%. We then ask for an estimation of the average item price that you sell those items for, which then automatically calculates a total revenue. If you don't have the average item price, but you do have the revenue, please provide the revenue over the top of the calculation. Finally, we ask what your average markdown from the new item price is. For example, you may sell a second-hand t-shirt for $5, but if it were new, it would cost $25. This would represent a markdown of 80%. Most of this information should be available at your point of sales system. Please describe any of the data sources you use and put any other information or comments that might provide context into the notes column. Table 2.2 lets you break down these totals from the first column in Table 2.1 into more detailed subcategories. Here, you can provide the number of items by subcategory or a rough percentage breakdown. Once again, please provide any comments or notes if needed. Table 2.3 captures items not sold within Western Australia, that is, items that are donated to welfare recipients for free of charge or that are sent to exporters. This is once again split into the same three item categories. Section 3 looks at the social and employment impacts of your organisation. Table 3.1 records your workforce. We first split it into paid staff and your volunteers. For each of these, we break it down further into open employment and targeted roles towards people facing barriers to employment. We ask you to please provide the number of people and full-time equivalent positions for each of these. There is an automatic calculation column that provides the average number of hours per week that are worked by an individual. Use this to check your data. Table 3.2 captures the training your organisation provides to its staff, both formal and informal, as the number of people trained and the total hours of training they received. The information needed for these two tables, Table 3.1 and 3.2, may sit with your HR department or, for smaller organisations, a team leader or someone who manages the roster. Tables 3.3 and 3.4 look at the financial support your organisation may provide to its community or for environmental outcomes, and the non-financial community support your organisation provides through its operations. This information may be held by your organisation's finance team or for smaller organisations with a treasurer, while transactions and other information may be in the point of sales system. Section 4 covers any repairs you make before reselling items. Section 5 gives you space to share barriers and opportunities you see in the WA reuse sector and how government could help strengthen or supercharge the industry. Section 6 is our final part and is optional. It allows you to enter the average item weights by category, which helps us translate the number of items into tonnes and for more accurate reporting. That's the end of the non-exporter survey. If your organisation also exports items interstate or overseas, please complete the exporter survey as well. The exporter survey has a similar structure but is shorter, with only 3 sections. The first tab again includes the definitions, scope and contact details of the RawTech team. The main survey tab collects information about your organisation and your exports. Section 1 is about you and your organisation, while Section 2 is about the items you export. Table 2.1 looks at where you receive items from and where they're exported to. Table 2.2 asks you to break down exported items by the same 3 main categories: clothing and textiles, household and homeware / toys and games, building and hardware. If possible, please report both the number of items and weight for each category. Use the first 2 dark blue columns for exports directly from Western Australian ports. Use the next 2 light blue columns if you export anything through another port, for example, Brisbane. In the green column, please enter the total value of the items exported. The grey columns on the right will automatically calculate totals and value per tonne for reality checking. Tables 2.3 and 2.4 explore what happens to items once they reach overseas markets, how many are upcycled or repaired, and what proportion are reused, downcycled, or used for energy recovery. Finally, Section 3 asks about your WA employment, both targeted and open, with the same breakdowns by headcount and full-time equivalents. That's an overview of both surveys for the WA Reuse Impact Study. We really appreciate you taking the time to complete them. Your data will help demonstrate the important environmental and social value created through reuse in Western Australia. Please don't hesitate to get in touch if you have any questions as you work through the survey. Thank you.